Good evening, everyone. I'm excited about tonight. I am so excited about tonight because we're going to be talking about my favorite thing, hiring and retaining your people, right? Hiring and retaining your people. I'm going to wait a few minutes for everyone to get on. I know we had a lot of people register for this. I really feel that this is the most challenging aspect of the whole cleaning business industry is not hiring your people but actually retaining your people. If you're jumping on for the first time, if you don't know who I am, I wait a few minutes. I watch my screen down here. You'll see me watch that, and I look for comments and stuff. Tell me who you are. Tell me where you're from. What the name of your cleaning industry is. I like to learn as much as I can. Of course, I'm getting a frog in my throat, an itch. As soon as I jump on here. Let me see. I'm gonna jump on here. Okay, so if you can hear me, let me know you can hear me. You guys should be able to hear me. I've fixed my audio thing. So welcome. This is the Sisters Who Scale group. We had a lot of new people join in the last week and a half. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Cheryl Hager. I'm the founder of Sisters Who Scale, this group. I help cleaning business owners hire, grow their teams, train their teams, learn how to sell, and grow their cleaning businesses to six figures and beyond. And beyond. Most people are five figures coming into six figures. So I help those people to scale from $30,000 a year to $1 million a year. That's who I work with. So tonight is going to be big. It's one of the most talked about topics that cleaning business owners struggle with the most. Managing people. It is difficult to manage people. Sorry, I'm having a frog in my throat here. It is difficult to manage people. So let's talk about the pain that nobody wants to admit. Okay, there's no worse feeling. Can everyone hear me? I think so. I just want to make sure. Hi, Kelly. I want to make sure everyone can hear me. I see 3 people here. 5 people here. Okay, good. Hi, Tracy. Hi, Christina. Okay, so if I'm coughing, I apologize. As soon as I turn the camera on, of course, I start having like an itch in my throat. It's just ridiculous. But anyways, so there's no worse feeling as a cleaning business owner than spending weeks training a new cleaner, finally getting them. I am so sorry. Hold, please. God, I hate that. Anyways, there's no worse feeling as a cleaning business owner than spending your weeks training a new cleaner, finally getting them to the point where they can go out on their own, and then the dreadful thing happens. They quit, right? No notice, no goodbye text. They're gone. They've ghosted you. They're scheduled for a shift and they just don't show up, right? We know what that feels like. You're scrambling, okay? You're scrambling. You're out covering jobs again. You're cleaning. You're working nights if you're doing commercial. Maybe you're scheduling people on the weekends. You're working 7 days a week, okay? I've been there. You're exhausted, not because of anything that you've done on your own, because you're constantly rebuilding your team from scratch. I know what that feels like. One time in my business, I own a cleaning business that I'm still active in. And one year we hired 27 people. One year we hired and we either they quit or we let go 27 people. Most of them quit. Believe it or not. True story. 27 people we went through in one year. That is a lot, right? So if that sounds familiar, you are not alone. The cleaning industry has one of the highest turnover rates of any service business in America. They say that it can be upwards of 200% a year. So what does that mean? It means on average, every position in your company will turn over twice a year, right? But here's the real gut punch. It's not always because of pay. right? It's not always because of pay. I work with people that are paying their cleaners $25 an hour, and these cleaners are walking all over them. Okay, it's not about pay. It's because of culture, right? Culture is built or broken from the top down. It starts from you, okay? It starts from you. So, why does retention matter more than recruitment? Recruitment meaning hiring. So many owners tell me, I just need more applicants. I can't find anyone who wants to work. If I had a dime for every cleaning business owner who has said that to me, I'd be rich. I'd be living in Tahiti. Everybody says that to me, right? But the truth is, it's not really finding them, it's keeping them, right? Retention is your hidden profit lever. So every time somebody quits, it costs you money. How does it cost you money? You have to interview, you have to hire, you have to train again, you have to buy a new uniform. You may possibly have to do a background check, right? So the emotional burnout of your loyal team who keeps picking up the slack, it wears on them too. And they could quit. So most business owners underestimate the cost of turnover because when you add it up, replacing one cleaner can cost you about $2,000 to $5,000 a year. Oh my God, that's a lot, right? So if you have 10 cleaners that you flip, that's in between 10 to 25,000 a year gone. Money you could have spent on anything, new equipment, growing your business, or taking a damn vacation, right? Exactly. So if you think retention is just an HR topic, it's not. It's a profit strategy. Believe it or not, it is a profit strategy. It is a leadership mirror. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? A leadership mirror is turning that mirror around and looking at you and saying, what am I doing wrong? Or what could I do better? Or maybe I'm micromanaging, or maybe I'm too tough, or maybe I'm a pushover, right? All these things. So here's why. Hi, I'm going to say hi. Hi, Tammy, Amy, Jessica. It's not letting me see anything. I don't know. I can see. Can everyone see everything? I think everyone can see. Jessica, I'm not sure. Try and get out of your like get out of it and come back in. Maybe that'll help. So why do cleaners really leave? Let's talk about the real reasons why people leave cleaning companies because I promise you it's not what you think. Okay, here's some reasons. If you want to write these down, please feel free to write them down. Low pay without purpose. That's different than just low pay. Low pay without purpose. So you can pay someone $18 an hour, $16 an hour, $20 an hour, whatever. But if they feel invisible, it does not matter. They'll take the next job that feels easier or more respectful, right? Cleaners leave when they feel like they're just another mop in the bucket, not to be corny. But for real, they leave when they don't feel appreciated. People will stay for a smaller paycheck when they believe in where they work, when they feel seen, when they feel heard, when they feel safe. Okay, that's number one. Low pay without purpose. Number two, chaotic scheduling. Right? Nothing burns out a cleaner faster than chaos. We've experienced it in our business. We do our best, right? Sometimes they're the cause of their own chaos when you have to change the schedule. So imagine, it's happened and it happens in this business. You get the schedule the night before, the routes are constantly changing. You have no idea where your hours will be next week. That bothers them. They can handle the changing of the schedule, but when they don't know how many hours you're getting from week to week, like that's a problem. So when there's no rhythm, there's no life balance. When there's no balance, there's no loyalty to you. Okay, so your cleaners, just like everyone else, every other employee, they want predictability. They don't want perfection. They understand. People get sick, things change, whatever. They want predictability. So they just want to know when they'll be able to come home and feed their kids or make dinner. They don't want to be like, oh, you were scheduled till 3, but it looks like you're going until 5:30, right? You can't do that to people, right? So you have to really have that's and how you do that is you get your systems in place. You train your clients, right? For example, I train people on this in my Drop Them Out program. You train your clients to respect you, respect schedule, respect your cancellation policies, all that stuff. So you can give a very solid schedule to your people, because your people are everything, right? Your staff is everything in your business. Your staff make you money, right? Okay, that was two, chaotic scheduling. Number three, no growth path, right? Most cleaning companies have no growth path beyond staying a cleaner. Why would anybody stay? Maybe the schedule, maybe they love to clean, something like that. But if your people can't see a next step, they start looking for someone else who gives them a next step. So think about it. Put the shoe on the other foot. Would you stay at a job where you knew nothing would ever change? No raise, no recognition, no advancement, or no challenge, right? When there's no vision, the best people will quietly exit, right? Is this making sense? Hi, Belinda. We have people on here that usually aren't on here. Belinda. Kelly, it just says, it gives me like, it says you're on like 10 times. I don't know why it does that. Three is bad culture or toxic energy, right? Culture isn't your mission statement. It's what your cleaners whisper about when you're not around, behind your back, right? Is the vibe poisonous or is it positive? That's so huge, right? It's so huge. Do your cleaners feel safe speaking up? Can they come to you and talk to you about anything? Or do they fear of getting blamed? Do they fear of getting yelled at, right? Do they see the teamwork? Or do they only hear gossip, right? The first, and this happened in our business, I run it with my husband, Jay. Sometimes he pops on here, you'll see, and some of you have met him at the in-person retreat I do every year, Sisters Elite. I miss you guys from September. But so we had a situation where there was a little bit of drama going on, a little bit of gossip, and the first thing we did, we just pulled the girl in the office. She's new, she's been with us a month, she's excellent, right? Came from another big franchise, worked there for 5 years. She's great. And she was just a little gossip, and then she had questions, and then she wasn't asking us, she was asking the bullpen, right? She was asking the staff members, if you will. And we just said, if you ever have a question, if you want the right answer, you come to us. We'll tell you exactly what's expected in a basic clean or whatever. Sometimes they get in different information, or they were talking about one cleaner that is like, one of my best cleaners, okay, one of my best staff. She makes a ton of tips. Clients love her, and I get rave reviews, right? So they were talking about this one person and how she's really tough. She's a team leader, and I'm like, well, she never gets complaints. So that's what the topic was around. So we just explained to this our new staff member, we're like, what I just said. She doesn't get complaints. She makes the most tips. She wants to make the clients happy, to make sure that we don't lose houses and everyone's happy. So once we explained to her the situation, she understood. Sometimes that toxicity can like go wild when they all start talking to each other, you know what I mean? So you really want to nip that in the bud. You want to, if you see any little sliver of, toxicity or poisonous or anything like that, nip it in the bud, talk to them, and figure it out, right? So if the tone in your company is chaotic or is negative or dismissive, it's going to push people away. Hands down, it's going to push people away. People leave jobs because of drama all the time. Number 5, lack of respect and recognition. Cleaning work is hard. I don't need to tell you that. There were days where I cleaned 4 or 5 houses a day until I, had a back injury or whatever. But you have to recognize the hard work, right? The labor in this business breaks bodies. So you have to tell them how much you appreciate them every single day. Not every single day, but every other day, every week. If they did a great job on a house, tell them that, right? Hey, great job on that client yesterday. They noticed a difference. That goes further. She left you a $50 tip. It happened last week. This one I'm thinking of. Great job on that. I know it was a little cluttery. She left $50. Here's the cash. Here you go, right? So many cleaners don't crave the cash, right? They crave doing good. They crave servicing people. They have servant's hearts. If you're a professional cleaner, you have a servant's heart. You want to help people. You want to make a difference. So you need to tell them that, right? The cash is great, right? They obviously, the tips, they love it. But you need to tell them that. They crave connection. They crave wanting to do good. Is this all making sense to you guys? Is this all making sense? Let me know if it's making sense. I can see everyone just kind of commenting. Okay, let's talk about the pattern that nobody talks about. I will say this again and again. Most owners don't have a retention problem, they have a leadership blind spot. What does that mean? What does that exactly mean? It means you could be screwing up stuff, right? So we're just going to fix it, right? So when things fall apart, we tend to look outward. We tend to look at nobody wants to work, the client is picky, these girls are lazy. We look at stuff like that, right? It's the generation, right? We've all heard that stuff. No one wants to work. Hi, Kimberly. They just don't care. They're not as detailed as me, right? But the culture, you have to remember, starts at the top. So if the owner is overwhelmed, if the owner is reactive or disconnected, the team is going to mirror that energy. Team's going to mirror that energy, right? They're going to act just like you, right? So if the owner treats cleaning like, oh, it's just cleaning, the team will too. You can't build loyalty from a place of burnout, right? From a place of burnout. So let's talk about the cost of ignoring the retention problem. So let's break it down. Let's look at it like when you don't fix it. So every time a cleaner leaves, your quality can drop, right? Clients start noticing the inconsistency. They start noticing new faces, right? Maybe you're not getting as many reviews. The schedule starts to fall apart, right? So you got all this rockiness going on, right? And what happens to your stress? It skyrockets, right? So soon you're not leading, you go into survival mode, right? So then what happens is if this keeps happening over and over and over, it's a constant cycle of hire, train, quit, repeat, right? And so that cycle on repetition kills your growth, right? But worse, it kills your confidence. Then you start to question yourself. Maybe I'm not cut out to run a team, to run people. Maybe this business only works if I do it all myself, right? But that's not true. But it feels true when retention is bleeding you dry, right? If you want to look, your brain is looking for a reason to justify why you may be screwing up, right? Honestly, I tell you the truth, right? And so I tell you the truth because I want to fix your problems. That's why. So, and it becomes emotional. There's an emotional toll with this, and not a lot of people talk about that, right? So, what does it really cost you emotionally? So, when your cleaners quit, it's not just an inconvenience, you take it personal. How many people here take it personal when someone has quit on them, right? I don't anymore, but I did. I did before. How many have taken it personal when their staff member quits on them? I would like to know. Kelly says, I'm going to comment here, low pay without purpose. Oh, yep, chaotic schedule. Thank you, Kelly. No growth path, bad culture, toxicity, lack of respect and recognition. That's it. Those are the five. Those are the big five. So when they leave, you feel betrayed, right? You feel exhausted, you feel defeated. You just say, oh, I put so much time into this girl. I thought she was going to be a team leader. I thought she was going to be a trainer, a supervisor, whatever. And maybe she just had, stuff going on or whatever. Belinda says, I used to, now you do not. Belinda, it gets personal sometimes, right? And so that's why so many owners, they start saying to themselves, it's just easy to do it myself. They say, I'm just going to solo clean. Right, but you're capped. You can only make about $1,500 a week if you're solo cleaning, right? Unless you're like Wonder Woman. You can do 5 houses a day or buildings or whatever you're doing. But that's not sustainable long term. So that lie that you tell yourself, it's safe, right? Your brain wants to keep you safe. So it comes up with that. But it's going to keep you small. It's going to prevent you from growing, right? And you didn't build a business to stay on your hands and knees scrubbing floors forever. Neither did I, right? You built it because you wanted to create an opportunity for yourself, for others, for your family, to spend more time with your kids, your husband, or to create jobs. I was just talking to Gloria Paul. I've been working with Gloria a couple of years now. God, it's got to be 2.5 years now. And we started working together when she wanted to quit. She was maybe making 10,000 a month, had another part-time job. Now she's at 35, heading to 40K a month, right? But she says the same thing, right? You have to not let your brain continue to protect you. You need to do things scared. You need to learn how to do stuff that feels very uncomfortable, right? Gloria is actually going to be on the Maids Who Made It podcast in a few weeks, December 3rd. It's a Wednesday evening. So, yes, so we're going to hear her story, how she went from wanting to quit to having it all. She's awesome. So, why is retention hard? What's the real reason of why it's hard? It's hard because it forces you to slow down long enough to look at yourself, to look at your leadership and see if you're any good. See if you're any good at it, right? You're not no one is born with leadership, no one is born with management skills. That's something that's learned. That's learned over time, right? So you can't outsource that, you can't automate it, you can't fake it, you can't hire someone else to do it. That's you. You're the founder, you're the CEO, you have to learn how to be one, right? So here's my question to you. And before we even talk about fixing it, I want you to sit with this question. And you know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. If you want to answer on this thread, ask yourself this and put it in the chat. Why would someone want to come work for me? Why would someone want to come work for you? Put it in the chat. I'll check in. Do we know? Are you a good boss? I don't know. Why would you want to go work for yourself? Right? Think about that. That's a question. Think of it in the other way. Answer me, why would someone want to come work for you? Right? Because that's the real question. So how do we fix this problem? How do we fix retention? So we have to make a transition. We have to make a transition in between, or I should say a transition from awareness. Okay, so now we're figuring it out. Okay, we need to be aware of something, to action, to actually taking action. So now that we've talked about why your cleaners are leaving, let's talk about what needs to change if you ever want to keep a strong team. Because once you figure out how to keep a strong team and their quality is good and they like coming to work and they're not calling out and all that stuff, that's when you can scale the company. You can't scale the company until you know how to manage people. Honestly, you really can't. Otherwise, your life's just going to be chaos. You may be around 15,000 or something, right? It's probably the max you could get. With chaos, 15 to 18K probably. And then you're just like, this is crazy. You have to have management skills, right? Because people drive you mental. They will. It's the hardest part in the whole industry is managing people. No joke. Okay. So let me be clear. We're not diving into a step-by-step of how to do today, because the truth is the how is going to look different for every cleaning company depending on your size, depending on your leadership style and the type of team you want to build. So we're going to identify the core areas you must fix, which is so important because part of the problem is figuring out what the problem is, right? Because until you address these, nothing else you do is going to work. You have to just rip the Band-Aid off, like I say, and be like, what are we fixing? Even if it hurts, even if you find out you may be a micromanager or, a toxic boss. There's toxic bosses out there, right? You got to figure out what's going wrong. What's going wrong? So, number one, fix your foundation, clarity and expectations, right? You cannot build loyalty on confusion. Your cleaners need to be clear, crystal clear about what is expected in the job role. And I see this all the time. Remember, I coach hundreds of people a year. I see this all the time. There's sometimes no communication, no clarity, right? No clarity. You're not telling your cleaners, here's exactly what's expected in this job, right? So if your cleaners don't know exactly what success looks like in your company, they're eventually going to leave. They're eventually going to leave. So you need to set clear expectations. documented systems, defined roles, right? Leadership, management level 1, management level 2, management level 3, right? This is your foundation. So you want to ask the questions, or you want to state, and this would be like an onboarding. Here's who we are. It's my company, who we are, what we do. Here's how we operate, okay? And here's why it matters. So now they know this is exactly what we do. Belinda says managing people is a full-time job. It's like 3 full-time jobs, depending on how many people you have. No, I'm only kidding. It can be done. It can be done in 1 full-time job, but it's true though. So here's who we are. Here's how we operate. And here's why it matters, right? And that kind of has to do with writing your core values, writing your mission statement, teaching them why you do what you do. If your company has purpose and you're able to convey the purpose of the company to your staff and they understand it and they carry it out, that's the golden ticket. And that's hard. It's hard to get there, right? So ask yourself this: does my team know what a job well done actually means? What does that look like, right? Are they really just cleaning houses? They're doing so much more than cleaning houses. They're helping people. They're removing chaos. They're removing anxiety for women. They're preventing divorces, right? Because some men don't pick up after themselves. We know that, right? So they're doing so much more than just cleaning. Do your cleaners understand your mission statement, your core values? That's one of the things we work on when you work with me, whether you're in drop them off group or private. We work on those core fundamental things that you need in your business. Have I given them clarity, or am I giving them confusion? Correct. If you're confused, they're confused, right? So that's where the culture stuff starts, believe it or not. It starts in all that stuff I just said: the core values, the mission statement. Here's who we are. Here are the expectations. Are you in alignment? All right? You're looking for people that want to be in alignment and want to feel good about working for a company and representing a company. All right, that was number 1. Number 2, fix your leadership energy. This becomes difficult, especially when you're cleaning in the field. You cannot create stability from a place of burnout. How many people here have felt burned out in their cleaning business before? I have. I was running it, cleaning. I was working another job. I was working 7 days a week for a whole year. 7 days a week, a whole year. Right, exactly. Burnout. So if you're constantly exhausted, constantly reacting, right? Reactive, operating in survival mode, that energy trickles down to your team. You best believe it does, right? So your cleaners don't just follow your policies, they mirror, like I said before, they mirror your presence. So if you show up in the morning at the office and you're stressed and you're anxious, they're going to feel that. So if you have offices, awesome. I believe in having an office. If you don't, fine. If you see them in the morning or wherever, your garage and all that stuff, wherever you see them, I don't care what's going on in your life. Stone face. Oh my God, how is everyone? Good morning. Fake it. Fake your happiness to them. Do not ever let them see you sweat. Do not ever let them see you have anxiety, this, that. When they leave and you're not in front of them, then you're allowed to fall apart. Right? That's where it's going to start, right? That's where it's going to start. Because if you want loyalty, you have to start showing up like someone that's worth following, right? Not perfect, just grounded, calm, consistent, poker face. You want to be poker face. Belinda says she's felt the burnout. Yeah, a lot of people have felt it. You want to have a poker face, right? What does my team feel when I walk in the room? We know what my team feels when I walk in the room. Hi, Maria. How are you? Good morning. How's your morning going? That's what they feel. I don't care if they come in with crazy ass energy that I can feel. I've learned to read people's energy and things like that. Kelly will joke because I can read people's energy over a picture, over a Zoom and stuff like that, because I've been doing it for so long. I can sense that energy. So if someone comes to me with this, I'm having a shitty mood energy, I don't even I'm just like, hi, how are you? I might be like, what's wrong? What's going on? I go right into, because I want to get them out of it, right? And I also want to show them that I care about them as a human being and not just, hey, can you grab your caddy and go clean my house? And you don't want to be like that to them, right? You don't want to act like that. So um, the question becomes, what does my team feel when they walk, when they walk around me, right? If it's tension, if it's panic, if it's disorganization, that's the first thing you have to fix, because they want to walk in the morning, even if they're half asleep. They want to walk in and they want to be greeted. They want to feel good. They don't want to feel your shit. So keep your shit out of their range. It's not fair to them. Not, you can't be in a bad mood. You're the boss. You can't be like that. Okay. Number 3, fix your systems. Another way that retention will die is in disorganization. When your schedule changes all the time, when the pay is inconsistent, when they have questions about how they're getting paid. I've seen that. Okay. The cleaners don't know where they're supposed to be. That's not just frustrating to them, it's just respectful of their time. Okay. They're working for you, they're human beings. Treat them like that. So when you have great systems, you create security. You create predictability, right? And security and predictability creates loyalty. If your cleaners can trust your systems, they'll trust your leadership. And that's what you need to do. They're looking for you for direction. You can't look like a shit show, right? You have to look like you have everything together. So it's time to look at your scheduling process, your communication flow, because communication is so important, right? How you handle the pay, the bonuses, the time off, the accountability. Are you crystal clear with telling them all of this stuff, right? You don't need to be a tech genius. You just need systems that make people's lives easier, okay? Does that make sense? Truth. Truth about what? True story. I have 12. Right, 12 cleaners. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. That's all crazy. When you go above 10, it's madness. if you're not organized. Trust me. So you want to fix your career path. That's number 4. So your best cleaners aren't looking for another job. They don't want another job, right? They're looking for a future. If they can't see one inside of your company, they'll find one somewhere else. So you want to ask yourself, what happens to a great cleaner in my company after they master the job? After they master cleaning the house, banging out of the ballpark, they're a deep clean specialist, or whatever, team leader, team trainer, quality retention. People stay when they feel like they're going somewhere, right? When they're learning something, when they feel safe. Like I said before, it's predictable. Oh, well, it's predictable. I know everyone. I'm friends with everyone. I know the job. People stay when they feel safe. So that doesn't mean you need fancy titles. It means you need growth opportunities for them. So maybe that's leadership training, team lead roles, like I just said, or maybe that's bonuses tied to performance, right? For a job well done. If you don't give them some type of a ladder, don't be surprised when they quit. All right? Don't be surprised when you quit. Another thing you can do is fix your recognition culture. So you can't buy loyalty, right? You build it through appreciation. A paycheck is what they earn. They trade, their time for a paycheck. That's what they earn. That's what they're deserved. Recognition is what makes them stay. So you'd be amazed at what a handwritten thank you note, a public shout out, right, in your office in the morning, or a team lunch can do for morale. But it isn't about perks all the time. It's about presence, right? Do your cleaners feel seen? Do they know their work matters? If not, that's the crack in your culture that's going to cause people to quit, right? That money can't fill, right? Number 6, fix your boundaries. So retention doesn't mean tolerating chaos necessarily. It means creating consistency. So you can't expect your team to respect your company if you don't have rules, if you don't have standards and you don't have some sort of accountability in place. High retention doesn't come from being nice, it comes from being clear, right? So your best people, they want structure. They want to know that everything's going to be the same. And here's the process of this. Here's the process of a deep clean. Here's the process of a basic clean. Here's the process in the morning. Here's the process in the afternoon. You need to have stability all the time. So when you have strong boundaries, you attract strong people, and that is what you want. When you don't, you attract chaos. So if you have a chaotic business with your staff, you have to start with yourself. Right? Is it making sense? Amy says, what kind of things can we offer them once they've mastered the cleaning portion of it? I know one gal that if someone stays with her for 3 years, she gives them a list of clients that she can do solo, and it doubles her pay. I wouldn't say doubling her pay is a good idea because you don't have the profit margins in place. You couldn't double someone from $18 to $36 an hour. You're not gonna make any profit. But so she's operating 1099. It's too much money for 1099. So I would disagree with that, doing that. You just give them bumps up. So like there's always going to be a pay raise with a graduating from a team leader to a team trainer to a quality supervisor. That's a big one where they go around and check everyone's work. Maybe they do one house a day and then drive around and check everyone's work, stuff like that. Then there's admin roles, things like that. That's like the gradual level of that. Doubling their pay is just not wise. It's just you're not gonna make any profit on the job. So you want to your company, you want your company to make 25 to 30% a year in profit, and that won't work. Kelly, clear is kind. Clear is kind. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Anyone have any questions about this so far? I'm gonna open it up for questions. I'm gonna open it up for questions. I don't know what clear is kind means. I'm telling you, when I learned how to do this, and it didn't happen overnight, when I learned how to be a good boss, how to be kind when you need to be kind, how to listen to them when they're trying to tell you something, right? When I learned how to do that, and I learned how to communicate, and I've always been a good communicator with the clients, but then once I became a good communicator with the staff, I mean, we've had people with us 7 years, 6 years, a bunch of them 4 years. That's unheard of in this industry. And I'm going to tell you, blood, sweat, and tears to learn how to do that. That was not easy. That was not easy, okay? Usually people say 6 months if you're lucky, sometimes 3 months in the cleaning industry, right? It's just horrendous sometimes, right? It's just a high turnover industry. That's why so many people can't make it above $500,000. Even above $300,000 because it's such a high turnover. That's what breaks companies, and they say, this is crazy. I'm selling, or I'm giving up, or I'm closing, right? Any questions? Any questions about this? I'm going to get out and go back on here. See if I can see any questions. No question. Jessica says, okay, Jessica and Anna. Hi, Anna. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Anna. Hi, Kimberly. Jessica Gramson dropped them off, and she just secured $13,000 residual income in her business today. Say congrats to Jessica. She's down in Sarasota. She's amazing. She's amazing. She's amazing. Okay, so here's the big picture, okay? The big picture is this. Retention isn't one big fix, okay? It's a collection of small, consistent choices. It's how you communicate. It's how you schedule. It's how you respond to people when things go wrong. Also how you respond to people when things go right, right? Because you want to be, you want to be positive and a cheerleader as well, not just, when things go wrong. It's how you show up for your people when you're tired, when you don't feel like doing it, when you don't feel like going to work. There are some mornings, because I'm still active in my business. My business is Made Bright Cleaning up here in the Boston, Massachusetts area. There are some days I don't want to go to work. I don't want to deal with it. I got this one that's got a crappy attitude. I don't want to deal with her. I don't want to listen to it. But I show up every day with the same cheery face, even if they're in a shit mood. I got this one's having issues. she's in a crap mood, right? And so it's just like, ugh. But I show up, I put a smile on my face, and no one knows that I didn't want to go to work that day, right? It's just normal. It's just totally normal that some days are going to be better than others. It's just totally normal, right? So if your cleaners keep leaving, it's not a people problem, it's a leadership alignment problem. Okay, that's what's happening. I'm not saying 100%. There are instances when cleaners will leave. Cleaners will have different, things in their life. They have to take care of a parent. They get pregnant. They're gonna move. There's gonna be all kinds of things that happen. You can't avoid those things. That's just part of being an employer. Shit's gonna happen like that, and it's just there's nothing you can do. But it's overall the other people that really came to your company because they want to work for a good cleaning company and they want to stay. So until you fix these root areas, your foundations, your systems, your leadership, your recognition, remember recognition is huge, and your boundaries, no amount of hiring, bonuses, or job ads are going to save you. Nothing will fix it until you fix your leadership. Okay, so if you're sitting here realizing this is exactly where I'm stuck because I don't even know where to start because my people are just the death of me, I can possibly help you because this right here, building teams that stay, that care, that actually take ownership. This is what I help cleaning business owners do every single day. I've helped hundreds of owners turn their chaotic businesses into loyal crews, high performing teams without paying a dollar more in labor. I actually, when I first start working with people, I actually have to teach them how to pay less because most people want to pay a little bit more. And your business, there's a ceiling on how much you can pay your cleaners. Some people, in different states are paying like outlandish numbers. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. No. You're giving 50% away. Are you crazy? You can't do that. You can't do that. You have bills to pay, insurance, payroll, equipment, office things, whatever. You have to pay within a certain amount. And I teach people how to do that. So if you're struggling with this and you want to finally stop this revolving door in your company and start leading an actual team that wants to grow with you, you don't have a hiring problem. You don't have a people problem. You actually have, and if you look at it this way, it'll help you so much. You actually have a retention opportunity. You have an opportunity to fix your retention problem because when good owners build businesses out of grit, out of heart, out of survival, we forget one thing. We're supposed to outgrow the chaos, right? Who wants to run a $500,000 cleaning company chaos every day and you're praying for Friday? That sucks. Nobody wants to do that, right? So you don't have to keep working yourself into the ground constantly, rebuilding teams that don't stay. That's not what this business is about. Sure, you're going to have some fluctuations here or there, right? But you can build something stable. I've done it. I've taught people that are doing it. You can have a peaceful business. You can have a predictable business, a business that runs even when you take a day off or go to New York for Christmas like Libby. I was just having a private call with her. She's in Sisters Elite, which is my graduate program after Drop the Mop, that is undergoing a massive, massive facelift and many additions coming. I'm excited about that in 2026. So Libby is able to take off, go to New York for Christmas, and her company's going to run. That didn't happen in the beginning, right? That didn't happen, but that's what I do. I teach owners to do that every single day. Turn their overwhelm into systems, into chaos, getting rid of chaos, rather, chaos into culture, and keeping your cleaners, right? So if you're ready to stop doing it all, you feel like you're struggling with this, type Drop the Mop, message me, DM me, make a comment. I'll reach out, see if what I do could be a good fit. I don't work with everyone, but I work with the people that I know I can help, and that the people that I work with the people that are going to show up for themselves and do the work, right? Because I could teach you a million things, but if you don't do the work, your business isn't going to change. And that's just the reality of it, right? So together we can fix your retention problem. We can break this problem for you, break it down, fix it, rebuild your confidence as a leader, and finally create the freedom that you started this business for. You're welcome, Belinda. You're welcome, Jessica. Jessica's my rock star. Right now. Because your business doesn't have to keep draining you, right? Your business, it's time for your business to serve you, right? It's time for your business to serve you. And I want that for all of you, because when you get it to a point where it's self-managing, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. You have time, freedom to do things, right? So if you're watching this on replay and you'd like to get more information on how you can fix your retention business, just message me or type something. I'll reach out. I hope this was helpful. We had 22 people register for this. That's a lot. It's pretty big. So, all right, everyone, have an amazing evening. And Drop Them Up class is tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And my next interview on the Maids Who Made It podcast is with Gloria Paul. Potentially December 3rd, I will make an announcement with that, and we're going to hear from her and why she was this close to quitting, but now she has it all. And what was the mindset shift that she had to make to make that happen and go over the bridge. All right, we're going to go over the bridge. All right, everyone, have a good evening. I'll see you all soon. Bye.